They grew up learning how to survive before they learned how to dream. Gen X parents were shaped by uncertainty, quiet expectations, and a world that rarely slowed down for feelings. They learned early that stability mattered more than comfort, that fixing what's broken was better than replacing it, that responsibility came before rest. They don't always speak about love. They show it through actions, through sacrifices no one applauds, through late nights and early mornings. Gen X parents carry a calm seriousness, not because life was easy, but because they learned that panic never solved anything. They were raised to be independent, so they raised their children to be strong, sometimes forgetting that strength also needs softness. They worry quietly about money, about the future, about whether their children will survive a world that feels faster, louder, and less forgiving than the one they knew. They don't complain much, not because they don't feel pain, but because they were taught to endure it. Gen X parents value discipline, routine, consistency, because chaos was never an option when others depended on them. They often stand in the background, watching, protecting, calculating risks, hoping their children never feel the pressure they once carried. Technology changed everything around them. They adapted, not effortlessly, but willingly, learning new tools not for themselves, but to stay connected, relevant, and useful. They believe in effort more than excuses, in showing up even when tired, in doing what needs to be done, not what feels good. Sometimes they feel emotionally invisible, too young to be considered wise, too old to be considered flexible, stuck between generations that don't fully understand them. Yet they keep going. They teach lessons through example, how to stay calm in storms, how to fix problems instead of running from them, how to stand up again without making a scene. They struggle with balance between control and freedom, between protecting and letting go, between wanting better for their children and fearing change. They often express love quietly, through packed lunches, repaired toys, paid bills, late-night worries, and early morning responsibilities. They don't romanticize struggle, but they respect it, because struggle shaped them. Gen X parents are practical dreamers. They want happiness for their children, but they prepare them for reality. They believe character matters more than popularity, resilience more than praise, and effort more than talent. Sometimes they sit alone in silence, not because they are lonely, but because silence is the only place they can finally breathe. They carry memories of a slower world and responsibilities of a faster one. They are bridges between generations, holding the past in one hand and the future in the other. Gen X parents may not always say, "I love you" out loud, but their lives speak it every single day. They don't ask for recognition. They don't seek validation. They just keep showing up. And that is the psychology of Gen X parents.
Gen X parents rarely talk about how heavy the responsibility feels. They learn to carry weight without showing strain, to solve problems quietly, and to move forward even when unsure. They were raised in a time when mistakes were lessons, not excuses. So when they parent, they teach accountability, sometimes strictly, because they believe the world won't be gentle. They struggle between two instincts, one that says protect at all costs, and another that whispers let them learn on their own. They watch their children grow in a world filled with noise, comparison, and pressure they never faced at the same age, and in silence, they wonder if they're preparing them enough. Gen X parents believe in effort that no one sees, in being present rather than perfect, in stability over speed. They don't chase trends, they chase security. They don't raise voices, they raise standards. Sometimes they question themselves late at night. Did I do enough? Did I push too hard? Did I protect too much? But every morning, they show up again, not because it's easy, but because someone depends on them. They may not always say the right words, but their intentions are steady. Their love is practical, grounded, and constant. Gen X parents are not loud in their affection.
They are consistent, and consistency is its own form of love.